It's yapping time. Yapping time presents you. The Silent Witness, A Town's Darkest Night. A mysterious story full of secrets, suspense, and surprises. Let's begin. Nights often passed without incident. Children slept tucked beneath thick quilts, and porch lights flickered like weary guardians. It was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone, and secrets had nowhere to hide. Or so they thought. On the night of September 14th, the town's silence was shattered. It began at the old Whitmore estate, a crumbling mansion at the edge of town, where ivy strangled the stone walls and windows stared like empty eyes. Inside, Eleanor Whitmore, heiress to the Whitmore fortune, was hosting a gathering. Only 6 guests were invited, all longtime acquaintances, and all with their own reasons for attending. Laughter echoed off the aging walls as glasses clinked and whispered conversations filled the gaps between thunder rumbles in the distance. But when the clock struck 11, the lights flickered and went out. For 3 minutes there was only darkness. When the lights sputtered back to life, Eleanor lay sprawled on the grand staircase, a pool of crimson spread beneath her. Dead, and someone among them was the killer. The authorities arrived quickly, led by Sheriff Clara Monroe, a woman known for her sharp mind and sharper intuition. She gathered the guests in the drawing room. The fire crackled weakly as the storm raged outside. There was Richard Mallory, Eleanor's business partner, whose failing investments depended on her signature. There was Margaret Vale, Eleanor's childhood friend, who once loved the same man Eleanor married. Samuel Green, the quiet historian obsessed with the Whitmore family's dark past. Lydia Cross, the ambitious journalist desperate for a story to revive her career. Victor Harrow, a distant cousin, set to inherit if Eleanor ever died without heirs. And finally, the town priest, Father Elias, who had no clear reason for being there, yet looked the most troubled of them all. 6 guests, 6 motives, but only one murderer. Sheriff Monroe began her questioning methodically. Richard Mallory insisted he had gone to check on the faulty generator when the lights failed. Margaret claimed she had been searching for her purse by the fireplace. Samuel said he was studying an old portrait of Eleanor's grandfather, a man whispered to have murdered his own brother for the estate. Each alibi thin as mist. Hours passed. The storm showed no mercy, and among the crackling logs and howling winds, Sheriff Monroe noticed something off. A detail none of the guests mentioned, but which stood out to her keen eye. The glass of red wine Eleanor had been drinking was untouched by blood, but the rim bore a smudge of something pale and powdery. Poison. Monroe's mind raced. If the killer had planned to poison Eleanor, the darkness was only a distraction, not the weapon. She ordered the wine tested. The results were swift: cyanide. The killer had known Eleanor's habits, her preferred wine, her seat at the gathering. And then, in a slip of tongue, the silent witness revealed himself. During a tense exchange, Father Elias muttered, almost to himself, "She never should have drunk it. I told her the chalice was cursed." The room froze. No one had mentioned a chalice, no one except Father Elias. When pressed, the truth spilled like blood from a wound. Father Elias had long been tormented by the sins of the Whitmore family, sins buried and whitewashed by generations of power and wealth. He believed Eleanor was cursed to repeat the same greed and cruelty as her ancestors. That night, he had brought an antique chalice, a family relic, laced with poison. But Eleanor, ever the creature of habit, had insisted on using her own glass. Still, the poison found its mark. In his twisted mind, Elias believed he was delivering divine justice, but justice, as it always does, had its own plans. As dawn crept over Wrenfield, casting long, golden fingers across the soaked earth, Father Elias was led away in handcuffs. The town whispered for weeks. Some spoke of madness, others of righteous fury. But in the end, Wrenfield's nights returned to their familiar stillness, and the Whitmore estate stood silent once more, its secrets sealed behind ivy and stone. Only the wind remembered the truth, and it whispered still. Thanks for tuning in to Yapping Time. If you like this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.